What's up, my man? How you
What's
doing?
going on, man? Good. How are you?
Good. So yes, we are live right now on all platforms: Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, and of course YouTube.
Wow. So we're all over the world.
We're all over the world right now.
Thanks for that first thing in the morning. Let me finish
You're well.
my call.
Go ahead, take your time. I mean, you should be used to it after yesterday, right?
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah. So let me ask you just a few questions. You know, yesterday you went before the senators, obviously Ted Cruz and Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. So as a regular American citizen, I'm sure you never probably expected that in your life. You probably were never like working up to, I'm going to go meet Ted Cruz type of thing. How did that feel going as a regular person, American citizen, and especially after what's happened over the past year and a half?
Well, first let me start off with saying that a couple years back, I actually got into, 5 years ago, I got into trucking advocacy. So I've been in the halls of Congress before, not in the Capitol building, but in the office buildings that are on either side of this. You got the Senate side, you got the Congress side,
right.
House side. And so I've met with people before. You know, it's not the first time that I've met with senators or House members or anything, but never met anybody at the caliber of Senator Johnson and Senator Cruz. That's tough to do.
Right.
Let alone the individual. I haven't even been able to get in to see their staffers, because normally you have to be like a constituent of theirs to see them. Well, I don't live in Texas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what was amazing about it, and what I guess humbling, it would probably be, you know, kind of like knock you down a peg or two maybe,
right, was
you get there and there's so many important people walking around, and you just see them all, and you're like, you know, you try to, I'm mad at them, right? So like, it was a little easier to not be like stargazed or anything like that, you know, but you can't help but feel that like there's really powerful people walking around those halls, you know, and all those years of doing the trucking advocacy, you know, I've done trucker protesting downtown DC before, parked trucks on Constitution Avenue, parked trucks on the National Mall. I helped, and there was one that I didn't plan, but I joined in, called May Day 2020. We put trucks sideways, blocked down Constitution Avenue right in front of the White House before. So it ain't my first roller coaster, it's just my biggest roller coaster.
Right.
But what I consider a win with this meeting, there's a couple things. One was, out of all those meetings I have ever been a part of or done over the last 5 years, never was a meeting inside the actual Capitol building. They were always in the office buildings that are beside the Capitol, either on the Senate side or the House side. This time, we actually went into the Capitol building and had a meeting with the two senators inside the Capitol. So, as somebody that never expected this to grow to what it is now, and then on top of it to be walking into the Capitol for a meeting, I mean, it's like when you see something on TV and it brings you almost to those tears, you know, that moment, like you're like, oh man, you know, like it was that feeling. Like, right. I don't know how best to explain that feeling. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. Like, no matter how big of a grown burly man you might be or whatever, you know, or how much of a tough guy you think you are, you still cry at those certain moments of a movie. You know, Old Yeller's dying and you're like, you know,
right.
and that's kind of like how it felt, honestly, walking in. And then when we sat down, you know, well, they came in, we met them, and it was crazy. I'm used to like going in and then you're waiting on people to show up. It was like they were standing by for us walking in, and to know that as a truck driver or as a member of this convoy, you know, whether you're in the car, the camper, the motorcycle, whatever, because we had a team of people that came along hoping to represent everybody that's down here, to know that they cared enough and that they knew that we were here and that they took us seriously like that they were waiting on us to show up, was pretty amazing, right. You know, and I can't even really put into words how that felt, because you have to do two things with that. You have to be respectful, of course, you know, because you're in the halls of the Capitol building, right? And so you're like, oh man, you know, this is where the country, you know, this is big time here, right? Like, this is the real deal. But you also have to go in there because we have a mission. You can't go in there and be, oh, yay, you know what I mean? Like, you have to actually, like, you know, we got work to do here, right? You got work to do.
Game face, right? Game face.
Yeah, and then, of course, all eyes are on us because the media is all over the place wanting to, like, interview you before you walk in, and then they're waiting for you to walk out, you know? So, I guess, I don't know, I rambled there. But it's hard to put into words how that felt. But it was a successful day with those gentlemen.
Yeah, I can only imagine the emotional thing because I mean my man WYSIWYG Chris was streaming it live for you guys, and I know some things in regards to that. So last question, because I know you're on time limit.
We're good, man. Keep going. Do your thing, man. I'll tell you when I gotta go.
All right.
We got 20 minutes before the driver meeting, so I'll give you 20 minutes.
All right. All right. So, as an independent journalist and as a streamer who's been on the streets from the riots in Portland, Oregon, and all the chaos and things like that, I have to say thank you for going to bat for wanting the streamers to get in there.
Dude, the only real media anymore is the independents, the live streamers, like that. That's it anymore, man. Because all these other people are owned by like conglomerates, and like their message is dictated by the owners of these big media companies. My favorite people in this entire convoy is the independent media that's been embedded with us from Adelanto or joined us along the way and have been here ever since. They're the only ones that have truly told the story. They're the only ones that take the time to get to know these drivers in the convoy. They're the only ones that actually have a heart, in my opinion, and don't just come at me a million miles a second wanting to try to trip me up on something. They actually want to have a conversation like we're having right now. It makes all the difference to me. It tells the true story. It shows the heart and the passion that these people have. To come down here and do a 2-minute segment of you just brutally asking me questions like rapid fire, trying to trip me up. Trip me up why? Because I'm doing something right? Yeah. Because these people care about their country? So you want to try to tear this down? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like your friend yesterday?
Yeah.
I was heated. I'm rolling the car with the convoy, streaming the convoy. I'm hearing that dude from the Daily Beast all muzzled up, and I'm like, bro, like, do you hear the whole conversation or just that? What's the plans? What's the plans? What's the plan?
And that's all he cared about.
Yeah, that's all he cared.
We've said from day one that look, we're gonna stay out of DC proper.
Right.
If the day ever came that we went to it, it would be well coordinated. It would be working with the law enforcement agencies that are down in the capital area, and it would be planned out in advance with DC Metro, with the Parks Police, with the Secret Service, and with the Capitol Police. Because the last thing we need is what happened up in Ottawa, where they were busting windows, shooting windows out, dragging drivers out, and beating them on the street. I got babies in this convoy. I got kids in this convoy. They're being homeschooled in these RVs. Yeah, that's on me and the other organizers. If something happens to these people, I'm not going to let that happen. So we're going to do things the right way. Right now, we're taking a day off for safety. The convoy ain't moving today. Why? Because it's raining. It's raining, it's sleeting, it's safety, cold, ice. You got your regular commute around here that's already bad enough for traffic. The last thing we need to be doing is going out there and causing risk to the public, unnecessary risk. I mean, we still have risk no matter what, bringing these many people out on the road. But unnecessary risk. There's no reason for me to bring a convoy out there while it's pouring down, raining, and sleeting. It's just a bad idea. You know, we want the American people on our side. And to get back to the independent journalist stuff, there is no better media than that right now. And you guys deserve a bigger voice and a bigger platform than what you have. It should be you guys that are on TV. There should be a channel, honestly. DirecTV, Comcast, all of them that feature, you know, even if it's just half-hour segments and it's hundreds of independents covering ranges of topics.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that's the only real media anymore. It's the only true media. And even, I met with the Washington Post, and she's a fantastic person. I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't because she has bills to pay, and like she's got a job to do, right? And she's got to put food on her table. I'm telling you right now, she'd be an independent media because she doesn't even, like, she's an amazing journalist, and she cares. Right. But she still works for the places. She works for a bigger, you know. But you could tell her heart is in the actual real story of this.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll leave you with one more question. There's obviously people around the nation who want to do movements, who want to lead things. What words of encouragement could you give them? Because here you are, just a regular man in America, truck driver. Yeah, you've been involved with some things, but still, you never expected to get to this level.
I was at home hanging out with my girls, enjoying my little life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't mean for all this to turn into all this. I was just passionate and wanted something to happen.
So what words of encouragement could you give to people who want to start something, who might be timid, nervous, afraid, especially due to the climate of our society?
Like in our states.
Yeah, in our states. Because Oregon's trying to
We're organizing one right now.
Yeah.
And I called that out yesterday on stage even.
We heard that.
And, here's the deal. The Republican House, the House members on the Republican side at least, and again, this ain't a right issue or left issue. This is an American issue. But I'll say this, that the House side of the Republican Party feels defeated and deflated. I could get that from that second meeting. Those guys, even if they cared, there's just nothing that they could do. Absolutely nothing, because they're in the minority of the House.
Yeah.
And which is fine. The Democrats need, it's time to break the mold here. Democrats, come talk. Let's work this out. Let's figure this out, because stop the partisan crap, right? So what that means, because of the difficulties to get them to break the mold or to step outside and do something that's bigger than themselves, but because they won't do that, because we seem to have problems finding congressmen and women on both sides of the aisle that are actually willing to do something like that, the fight is obviously showing that it's at the state level. And what that means is you need to do the same thing that we're doing here, but you need to do it at the state capitals. You need to organize your state capitals. Words of encouragement, look, always talk from the heart. And always be truthful, even if the truth hurts. Even if it's going to kick away people that are involved in the organization team. So when you're organizing, you might start off with say 50 people that are helping the plan. The fact is, it's going to take 5 to get it done, not 50.
Right.
And I know that sounds crappy, right? And we do have a large team of people, but it took time to get those people working on the things that they were best at, and really consolidating the core, and then having all the support with you, right? So keep it small, keep it tight, keep it people that you trust 100%. Keep the message clear, know what you're doing before you do it, and always tell the truth and speak from the heart. Don't write bullet points and then stand up there going, today we're gonna go around the Beltway, right? Don't do that.
Sounds very presidential.
Right, exactly, right?
Can I say that? That almost came out of my mouth.
It's fake. It's fake.
Yes.
It's fake. It's fake.
Yep.
That's the problem with the politics today in the country. They're fake. Every single one of them are fake.
Yeah.
There's good-hearted people that really want to get good things done, but their hands are tied by the left or the right. It goes both ways, right? So, speak your truth and speak from the heart. Care about others, even if they disagree with you. Yesterday that reporter.
Yes.
Look, man, he was I'm not even going to say what he was. And 2 of the people that were there with me went after him. And I even kind of was chirping at him a little bit, right? But even off camera, what people didn't see, I don't know if they saw it, I don't know if it live streamed, but we walked outside after it was all said and done, and I put my hand on his shoulder outside in the hallway. I did it. I think somebody said I did it too inside the room. I don't remember that part, but I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, listen, I respect you as a human being on earth.
We heard it, but I don't think the camera was it wasn't turned on you.
And because everybody's got a job to do still, right? And what I'm getting at, because that'd be turned into a long story, but what I'm getting at is respect everybody, even when they disagree with what you're doing. Be respectful, speak the truth, and let it come from the heart.
Right.
Don't get caught up in all the cameras or the senator that wants to see you. Don't get caught up in that. Don't go see him. Absolutely, the dialogue is important. But don't get stargazed and don't let them feed you crap, because they're going to sit there and they're going to tell you, yeah, absolutely, I support you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then all of a sudden the movement's over, but nothing happened.
Yes.
That's why these folks need to organize in their states, and they need to go to the states, and they need to sit at the states. They need to sit at their states and not go anywhere. What I would also encourage folks to do, though, is start the permit process. start the permit process. The permits make a difference, and contact your local law enforcement and let them know what you plan on doing. You're allowed to do it. Even if they sit there and say you can't do that, you are allowed. You're protected under your First Amendment rights, and that's what you keep pushing. First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. Keep pushing that. You're allowed to do that. They can't say no. They might try to deny permits. They might say, oh, it takes 3 weeks to do permits. No, it takes 48 hours to issue permits. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them bully you around, because they will try. They will try to stop you. They 100% will try to stop you. So just stay the course, and if they do try to stop you and they keep stay in front, go get an attorney. Seriously. Do a fundraising drive or whatever to pay for an attorney. Go get an attorney, especially a constitutionalist attorney, like somebody that practices constitutional law. Go get that attorney and immediately sick that attorney after the city. Right. Get that attorney after the capital region. Like, sick them. Literally, get them and sick them.
I like it.
Take them off. Let the attorney go off his leash, his or her leash, and sick them after the police department, and sick them after the permit office, and sick them after the capital. Wherever city that may be, whatever state that may be, sick them after them, because they'll get the permits done and they'll fight for you on the constitutionality of what you're doing, and that's the key. Do it law-abiding and peaceful. And if any of them stand in your way for being able to do those two things, get the attorney through crowdsourcing or whatever. People that you trust to do crowdsourcing, first off, because there's a lot of scammers, and then get that attorney, and send them into the Capitol. Tell them, I need you to talk to this person, whatever, and send them. Dude, they'll bend. They'll bend and break, and they'll give, and you'll have your permits, and you'll be rolling in under a law-abiding, peaceful protest.
That's what's up, and that's what we need. That's what we need, and I'm loving the tactics. I'm loving your game plan. How you in the organization, it's on point. And it's making a statement, obviously.
I hope so. Honestly, I hope so. At the end of the day, even if I don't know, I don't see it happening this way, but if nothing really comes out of this, that we don't end the mandates and we roll out of Hagerstown and we go home, right? Obviously, I'm going to go back to Ohio, and we're gonna keep fighting in Ohio, right? I'm going to go back to Ohio, and I'm going to fight for Ohio. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's what's happening. When I go back to Ohio,
that's what's happening.
We come in Columbus.
There's the warning, right? There's the warning.
Yeah. But each state's different in what they're requiring and what they're doing. But see, even if your state doesn't personally have the mandates, like. The federal mandates are still in place. You still have your healthcare workers. You still have the DOD. You still have those. Putting pressure on the state then starts pressuring the federal government to do something. So don't fall for the rhetoric of people saying, "Oh, well, it's a red state and they support you and we don't have mandates." Yes, you do still have mandates. You have them on the federal scale.
We're from Oregon. We're fighting it daily.
Right. You need to go to the state capitol, whether they're red or blue state capitol, and you still need to fight it. You still need to pressure it, even if the state supports you. Because once the state feels that pressure, they make their senators, they make the constituents start saying, hey, this needs to end, do something, help us. Then maybe, just maybe, these career politicians on the right and the career politicians on the left will finally break the mold and sit down and say, okay, guess we better listen to the people.
The people, yep.
That's so it doesn't matter, red or blue state. I don't care if it's Alaska or Texas.
Right.
I don't care if it's Hawaii or Pennsylvania. I don't care if it's Maine or Florida, North Dakota or Louisiana. Everywhere.
Yep.
It needs to happen everywhere across the nation. And honestly, it should happen on the same day. It should start. And even if it don't start on the same day, within that week it should start to build. And everybody needs to go there with the same intent as we came here. Law-abiding, peaceful, with no end date.
Right.
With no end date. Don't give an end date.
And that's been some of the problem I've seen. People just do events. It's never a day after day thing.
The events get nowhere. You know what you do? You give these folks a day off because they can't come into the Capitol for the day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, that'll be over tomorrow.
Exactly.
And then they go home, they drink their coffee, they spend time with their family, which is great that they get to spend some time with their family, but it means that they're not taking you seriously.
Right.
So you need to go there and hold the line. You need to go there and stand there and stay there.
Yep.
And do your best to keep pushing law-abiding, peaceful protest. Say it over and over and over again, but don't be. Listen, far left folks and far right folks are both welcome to, as long as they're here with the same message, meaning peaceful, law-abiding protest for our constitutional freedoms and your God-given rights, right? You're welcome to the table. Antifa and boys, you can go back to hating each other tomorrow, but let's get this done, because this is for all of us, okay? This is for all of us. So this is the kind of thing like, hey, put down your flags, your group flags, right? Like whatever that may be. Put that stuff down.
We deal with it.
Pick up your American flag and come together. Seriously. I mean, this issue is bigger than that. And if these groups can't see that, they're not the kind of people you want in your group going to the Capitol.
Yeah.
Just they're not using their head. They're not thinking big picture. They get to do what they do in their far right or far left groups or whatever. And I'm not calling Proud Boys or Antifa far right or far left. I'm just saying, more right leaning and more left leaning. Those folks need to understand that this is bigger than them.
Yep. Real talk. That's real talk. Yeah.
They need to understand that. So. And if they can't, then stay in mom's basement. You know what I mean?
No matter what side you're on.
Just let us finish. Just let us finish what we're doing. That way, your messaging that you want and that you want to keep fighting for is still protected, and you get to keep fighting for that message when we're done, because we're standing up for the Constitution.